Come on, guys, let's go.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm the cat gardener. My name is Diana and I have a mini urban garden in St. Louis. It's the first week of October and it's been really warm so far with temperatures in the 70 to 80s. And I thought I would be showing you the last harvest of my summer crops this video, but I think we're going to have another week of this warm weather, so I will save the summer crops for next week's video. Today, I will just give you an update on how my autumn crops are doing and show you some of the chores I have to do around the garden, like fertilizing and transplanting. So come with me and see what's going on in my garden. The types of autumn crops I'm most interested in planting are the very cold tolerant ones. The ones that I will know will last in a St. Louis winter, and the ones that will make it worth its while. So take these two kales, for instance. I planted them this time last year, so they made it through the St. Louis winter with a cover on top, of course, and now they're showing their longevity. They're almost like perennial plants lasting so long. So the types of stuff I'm growing this year, I hope they also endure as long as these guys. This year, in preparation for winter, I did research on the most cold tolerant stuff. It's basically your mustards, your tatsoi, and your bok choys, basically garden variety Asian greens. So I made sure to plant a lot of those. One thing I need to do today is thin out this bok choy. When they're so crowded like this next to each other, they're not going to grow those nice little florets that you're used to seeing. So I'm going to clear out some space so that they can grow into the nice little florets. That's all the thinning I'm going to do for now because you never know how it's going to go. What if I get a cabbage worm in here and it starts ravaging things, and then basically I've overdone it and shot myself in the foot. You'll notice that all of my crops have insect netting over them. Let me show you what happens when you don't use it. So I forgot to use it for this dill here, and then I found 3 caterpillars, black swallowtail butterfly caterpillars that were chomping at my dill. And look at it 3 days later, how much they ravaged the dill. As long as the weather's still warm and I still see moths and butterflies flying around, I keep the insect netting on because I know that they're there to lay their eggs. Once the caterpillars are born, their goal in life is to eat voraciously in order to prepare for pupation during the winter. Now let's go to the backyard where I can show you some transplanting that I'm doing today. Now is the perfect time for me to transplant stuff from one area of the garden to another. Basically, you want to find a time that allows the roots enough time before the frost comes to acclimate to their new environment. And today I will be transplanting my Chinese garlic chives. They were growing here, or they still are, except there's a big black raspberry bush that's taken over everything here. So I need to move them. You just have to dig them up at the end of their season, which it's already done for them. You get something like this, where these are the shoots, the spent shoots at the end of the season, and you're going to be planting this into the ground. To maintain these autumn crops, it's crucial to do fertilizing, so we're going to talk about that next. There's 2 types of fertilizers. There's instant release and there's slow release. So the slow release stuff needs to be broken down by the soil microbiome, and that takes time. And the instant release stuff is basically readily available for the plant to use right away. For container gardening, I like to use instant release stuff. And that's because there's fewer microorganisms in the soil and containers. So if you think about it, there's not going to be so much microbiological activity to break down that slow release stuff for you. And I think you're just going to be wasting your time and money, honestly. So in order to make my instant release stuff, I like to use a combination of this thing from Miracle Grow, which provides the nitrogen, potassium, and phosphorus that your plants need. But in addition to that, I like this fish fertilizer because it's more like a complete fertilizer. In addition to nitrogen, it also has minerals that your soil needs. To mix them, I do 1 spoonful of the all-purpose plant food, and then I eyeball this. I do a glug of this fish fertilizer all into this 2-gallon watering can, and then I fill it up with water, and that's all you need for fertilizing. So I like to use this stuff every 2 weeks on my crops as long as there's no frost out there. I specifically avoid fertilizing root vegetables like beets, your carrots, your daikon, because when they get fertilized, they tend to grow really crappy roots, like the stuff you want to eat, and they grow the greens, the shoots instead. And lastly, I also avoid fertilizing salad greens because I find that when they get fertilized, they just grow really tall and lanky, like they're bolting. Now, as for my autumn crops in this raised bed here, which is in ground, in addition to doing the instant release fertilizer, I'm also going to use the slow release stuff because there's soil microbiome here to break the stuff down over time. You just need like some kind of a balanced fertilizer. You can get anything. I use this one.
Now let me take you inside where I do all of my seed starting indoors.
Because I have a small garden, I like to maximize space as much as I can. So whenever I have an empty space because I had just harvested a bok choy or a head of lettuce, I like to have a transplant ready to go in its place. Therefore, indoors, I keep succession planting seeds so that I have transplants that are ready to go. Before you're ready to plant, like a few days before, you can just take them outside and let them acclimate to the outdoor environment before you finally put them in the ground. This is basically my way of having a continuous supply of crops that are ready to go in the ground so that I don't have to wait for that lag time between seed and mature plants. For today's recipe, we're going to stir-fry Chinese rice cakes with pork and Napa cabbage from my garden. And this is how luscious the Napa cabbage from my garden is looking at this point. And this stuff is amazing because the seeds I got, they mature in like 20 days. It's so fast. Now that I have these empty spaces here, it's a good time to make use of the successive transplants that I've already got going, ready to go into the ground, and put them here to substitute for the original cabbage. And today I'm going to put in bok choy. And this is my harvest of today, so let's go cook this now. Today I'll be showing you how to stir-fry rice cakes with pork and Napa cabbage. A few hours before you're ready to get cooking, you want to soak the rice cakes in water to rehydrate them. They come as these little pieces, and you just want to put it all in water and try to get rid of the clumps as much as possible without breaking any of the rice cakes. After a few hours in water, they should be rehydrated, but they may still be in clumps, so you want to find the clumps and separate them into individual pieces. After that, you can strain all of the rice cakes. I would separate the stems of the Napa from the leafy part, and the stems can be cut into small pieces. Because the leafy part is kind of big, you can have it first and then cut it into small pieces just like the stems. Heat up olive oil in a pan on medium heat, being careful not to burn it. When the olive oil is warm, now is the time to add the ground pork to it and start stir frying. When the pork turns opaque, add some cooking wine to deglaze the pan. Cook until the wine is evaporated, at which point now you can add the Napa cabbage. Take about a minute to fold it into the pork nicely so that they get mixed very well. Add 1 tablespoon of soy sauce and mix it in well. At this point, you'll have a bed of Napa and pork, and you'll add rice cake on top of that bed. Cover it and cook for 1 minute on low to medium heat in order to steam the rice cakes. Remove the cover and stir fry everything together for about 1 more minute over medium heat. You want the rice cakes coated in the sauce, cooked thoroughly, but still chewy at the same time. At this point, you should taste it and see if you want to add more salt to it. Take it off the fire, and I hope you enjoy this recipe.
That's it for today's video. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed it, please hit the like button down below and subscribe to my channel for new updates. I'll see you next week. Bye.